Hey there. If you clicked on this, you're probably trying to fall asleep. And if you're anything like me, your brain refuses to shut up the moment your head hits the pillow. So let's try something different. I'm going to read you a list of boring, weirdly detailed facts. They won't change your life. They probably won't stick in your memory. But they might just be boring enough to put your brain into airplane mode. So lie down, lower your brightness, put this on in the background, and let your mind gently wander through the world's least exciting trivia. Let's begin. Part 1. Everyday objects. Did you know the average pencil can draw a line 35 miles long before running out of lead? That's enough to draw from one end of a city to another, if you really wanted to, and had a lot of free time. There are more plastic flamingos in the United States than real flamingos, which means your lawn might actually be more tropical than Florida. The Q-tip was invented in 1923 and was originally called the Baby Gaze. Yes, that was the brand name. Then it became Q-tip Baby, and eventually just Q-tip. Marketing is a journey. The first barcode ever scanned was on a pack of Wrigley's Juicy Fruit gum. This happened in 1974. Gum made history. The average kitchen sponge has more bacteria than a toilet seat. So if you're washing dishes with it right now, maybe stop. Or don't. You're probably already immune. Honey never spoils. Jars of honey found in ancient Egyptian tombs are still edible. You could literally eat a snack older than the Bible. But maybe don't. Bananas are technically berries. Strawberries? Not berries. Botany is full of betrayal. Peanuts aren't nuts. They're legumes, which means peanut butter is basically bean spread. The expiration date on bottled water refers to the bottle, not the water. The water doesn't expire. The plastic just gets grumpy over time. The inventor of the Pringles can is buried in one. His name was Fred Bauer, and yes, part of his ashes were placed inside a Pringles container. Original flavor, if you were wondering. There's no official international standard for the beginning of the week. In the US, it's Sunday. In most of Europe, it's Monday. In some parts of the Middle East, it's Saturday. So technically, it's always someone's weekend. Somewhere. February used to be the last month of the year in the Roman calendar, which is probably why it has fewer days. It got bumped to second place and just stayed short out of spite. The year 46 BCE is known as the Year of Confusion, because Julius Caesar added 90 extra days to fix the calendar. Imagine living through a year with 3 extra months. Hard pass. The word fortnight means 14 nights, which means if someone says, "I'll see you in a fortnight," they're basically time-traveling 2 weeks into the future, in a British way. Sloths can hold their breath longer than dolphins. They slow their heart rate and can go up to 40 minutes underwater, all while looking like they're high on herbal tea. Octopuses have 3 hearts. 2 pump blood to the gills, and 1 to the rest of the body. When they swim, the heart for the body actually stops. So swimming is basically a cardio risk for them. Cows have best friends, and they get stressed when they're separated, which is both adorable and heartbreaking. A group of flamingos is called a flamboyance, because apparently even nature has a flair for drama. Wombat poop is cube-shaped. Scientists think it's to stop the poop from rolling away. They use it to mark territory. So yes, square poop is a territorial strategy. The little plastic end on your shoelaces is called an aglet. Its entire job is to keep the lace from unraveling. A small hero, largely ignored. That tiny pocket on your jeans, it was originally made for pocket watches. Now, it mostly stores lint, old receipts, and mystery coins. The space between your eyebrows has a name, the glabella. It's also where you frown the most. So technically, your glabella holds most of your emotional tension. Poor thing. Toothbrushes used to be made with pig hair. Before nylon, the bristles came from actual hogs. Morning breath and pig bristles. The past was wild. Velcro was inspired by burrs sticking to a dog's fur. The inventor looked at the burrs under a microscope and thought, hooks and loops. And that's how astronauts now close their pockets in space. The longest hiccuping spree lasted 68 years. A man named Charles Osborne started hiccuping in 1922 and didn't stop until 1990. Bless him. And his diaphragm. The world's quietest room is so silent, you can hear your own heartbeat and your bones moving. No one has lasted more than 45 minutes alone in it without losing their mind. So, maybe don't visit. The most overdue library book was returned 288 years late. It was borrowed in 1668. I don't know what the fine was, but yikes. There's a town in Norway called Hell. And yes, it freezes over every winter. So the next time someone says, when hell freezes over, they're technically talking about Norwegian weather. The longest wedding veil was over 23,000 feet long. That's longer than Mount Everest is tall, which is a lot of tulle for a day that goes by way too fast. The average person walks the equivalent of 5 times around the Earth in their lifetime, mostly while looking for their phone. Let's be honest. You can't hum while holding your nose. Seriously, try it. It doesn't work. Now you've just tried that while lying in bed. You're welcome. Goosebumps are a reflex from when we had more body hair. It made our fur stand up to scare predators. Now it just happens when we watch emotional TikToks. The word alphabet comes from the first 2 Greek letters, alpha and beta, which is basically naming your system AB and calling it a day. Your stomach gets a new lining every few days because it literally digests itself. Self-care, stomach style, sweet dreams, and soft trivia. Let's talk about dust. Dust is mostly made of dead skin cells. Not entirely, but a good chunk. Your body sheds millions of skin cells every day, and many of them end up just floating around. Until gravity says, okay, that's enough, and they settle on your shelves, your books, your keyboard, your glasses, even the ceiling fan that ironically tries to push them away. Some of the dust you see shining in a beam of light is also made of fibers from clothes and bedding, and tiny particles of dirt. And if you're in the city, some of it's tire rubber. From cars, yep, you're breathing microscopic traffic at 4 a.m. That was the only time. No snooze button, no options. If you wanted to sleep in, too bad. The word clue used to mean a ball of yarn. In Greek mythology, Theseus used a ball of thread, a clue, to find his way out of the Minotaur's labyrinth. Over time, the meaning shifted. A clue became something that helps you find your way through confusion. Hence, a clue. So next time you solve a mystery, thank a mythological ball of yarn. The word spam is from a Monty Python sketch. You know those annoying emails? The term spam for junk messages comes from a 1970 Monty Python sketch where a restaurant serves every dish with spam. The word is repeated so many times that it drowns out everything else, just like your inbox, from comedy to chaos. Octopuses have 3 hearts and blue blood. 2 of the hearts pump blood to the gills. 1 pumps blood to the rest of the body. When they swim, the 3rd heart stops. They hate swimming. It stresses them out. Also, their blood is blue because it uses copper instead of iron to carry oxygen. That's not exciting, but it is a little fancy. The Eiffel Tower can grow over 6 inches in summer. Metal expands when it's hot. So, in the heat of summer, the Eiffel Tower can grow taller by about 6 to 7 inches. Then, it shrinks back down in winter. Technically, the Eiffel Tower breathes, just very slowly. Sharks predate trees. Sharks have been around for over 400 million years. Trees, only about 350 million. So for at least 50 million years, sharks were swimming around a completely treeless planet. Imagine a world where the ocean had more variety than the land. Bananas are radioactive. They contain potassium-40, a naturally occurring isotope. But don't worry, you'd have to eat about 10 million bananas at once to get a harmful dose. Please don't try. You can't burp in space. Without gravity, the gas in your stomach doesn't separate from the liquid. So if you try to burp in zero gravity, you might get a wet surprise. Astronauts call it a wet burp. The moon smells like gunpowder, at least according to astronauts. After moonwalks, the dust they brought back into the spacecraft smelled like spent gunpowder. No one knows exactly why. There's a species of jellyfish that can live forever. It's called Turritopsis dohunni. When it's injured or sick, it reverts to its polyp stage, basically becoming a baby again, and starts over. Immortality through reverse aging. Nature is weird. Goosebumps are useless now. They were once useful when humans had more body hair. Goosebumps would puff up the hair, making us look bigger and scarier to predators. Now, they mostly happen during emotional songs or cold breezes. Not quite the same effect. Cows have best friends, and they get stressed when separated. Studies show cows are calmer when they're with their best cow friend. So, if you hear mooing, it might be a lonely moo. Wombat poop is cube-shaped. Yes, actual cubes. Scientists believe it helps the poop stay in place and mark territory more effectively. A truly strange form of communication. The word bookkeeper has 3 double letters in a row. It's the only word in the English language with 3 consecutive double letters, O-O-K-K-E-E. Now, you'll never unsee it. Tomatoes were once thought to be poisonous because they're acidic, and when eaten off pewter plates, they would leach lead, causing lead poisoning. People thought the tomato was to blame. The real culprit? The plate. The first alarm clock could only ring at one time. It was invented in 1787 by Levi Hutchins and was set to go off at 4 a.m. That was the only time. No snooze button, no options. If you wanted to sleep in, too bad. And finally, every minute, your body sheds about 30,000 to 40,000 skin cells. That means by the time you finish this video, you'll have left behind a tiny invisible version of yourself on your pillow. You're welcome. Maybe you're still awake. Maybe you're halfway to dreaming of cube-shaped wombat poop or 23,000-foot wedding veils. Either way, I hope this helped slow your thoughts, even just a little. If you're still listening, go ahead and give this video a like. Not because the spoon demanded it, but because the aglet asked nicely. Subscribe for more sleepy rambles. And drop a comment with the most boring fact you know. Bonus points if it's about socks. Sleep well, dream soft, and may your glabella remain forever smooth. Good night.